Okay guys, we're back. TFE TV, welcome back to the channel. I'm Captain Chad Gabbs. Today we have Tank. This is just a little bit of a continuation of the process of the board and train program that him and his sister Poe are undergoing here at the TFE Ranch in beautiful sunny Southern California. My God, would you look at that? Anyway, what are we doing? As a part of the continuation here, we're just gonna control the game. We're going to control the game, fam. You know, one of the things that, in terms of value that we talk about in reference to board and train programs with dogs that come to us, most of which are completely green and don't have much of a structure, don't have a whole lot of the game being dictated, is just that. This place is extremely structured. The routine is very, very consistent. And as we all know, rules, boundaries, structure, routine, repetition, positive experiences, clarity of information, expectations, you know, all these things, right? And that's what a lot of these dogs are missing. And it's our goal here to incorporate all of those things and to pass the baton to the owner. Now, I have my owners come back once a week so that we can go through just a couple things each week so that it's not an information overload by the time we get concluded with the program. I used to do that when I first started, and I used to see these eyes of which it was just too much information being delivered to people who can make sense of what you're saying. Like, it all makes sense, but if it's too much at one time, the client, it's almost like it made sense when they heard it, but when they go home, it's like, dude, what did he just say? You know what I'm saying? So we want to make sure that we're giving them multiple sessions so that we can repeat what we did the last session, maybe for the first portion, but have the ability to go through it a little bit quicker because it's just a review, and then perhaps touch on a couple of other things in the next session. But right now I got Tank out here, and yesterday we introduced him to the prong collar. We're going to continue to work with the prong collar. He's a very sensitive guy, and that's something, and so is his sister. And I think honestly, Huskies, Husky mixes, they have the tendency of being relatively sensitive and soft temperamented. Now, while that may not seem like the case because they could be psychos, just because they're erratic and highly overly stimulated a lot of the time, it doesn't necessarily mean that they have hard temperaments, okay? Soft temperaments, can't handle too much pressure, bad idea to put too much pressure on a dog. So we're not incorporating, you know, corrections or any of that shit right now. We just want him to continue being conditioned to the prong collar so that he gets a little bit more used to it. And you're going to see when I walk him, he has this sense of like, oh, buddy, you know, because just the slightest bit of pressure and he's like, he's acknowledging it. And we don't want to give him a negative experience. So that's why we're also, throughout the course of this video, going to be using high value reward as well. Because not only are we going to continue teaching him how to walk like a gentleman, but we're going to perhaps maybe introduce him to a couple of obedience things as well. Now, in reference to obedience, how do we get obedience commands going, guys? I'm going to refer back to what I always, what one of my first mentors taught me. There's no substitution for how many repetitions it takes. It's so easy. It's just who's willing to go through the time and the reps to actually get it done. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how many people are coming home after work when they feel tired and don't feel like doing stuff, are actually taking the 5 to 10 minutes to continue working on obedience commands? Not very many. Most people just wait right before dinner. They're in the kitchen. They have the food bowl in their hand. They ask the dog to sit, and then boom, that's the extent of it. That's not how we're going to get reliability in a multitude of different environments and contexts, okay? We've got to be able to do it everywhere. And so that's why coming here, new environment, new space, I have different platforms, different textures. I've got position boxes. I've got different heights, different levels. So we switch up the look so we can work on doing it on different things. Does that make sense, guys? Good, great, grand. Let's continue on here. First thing I always like to do whenever I'm about to do an obedience session, if the dog's fresh out the kennel, is I'll bring him up here and I'll give him the opportunity to sniff around and take a piss and, you know, get those initial jitters out. He's over there dragging a leash right now. But since I know I've given him plenty of time, look, 4 minutes and 38 seconds to do that, let's get into what I was going to do to begin with. So if you're still watching the video at this point, I appreciate you. Oh, also, I'm actually posting this on my YouTube channel for you guys, just as a little bit of a taste as to what my Patreon page has. Patreon.com/Team Floppy Ears. I'll link that in the description. It's content that doesn't get posted to YouTube. It's more in depth. It's kind of like this, how-tos and whys and all these things, which is ultimately extremely valuable. It's what people pay me a lot of money to teach them. But you guys are getting it today on the house. So if you can, leave me a thumbs up. That's the other way you can support the channel. Like the video. You could share it with your friends. Let them know Captain Chad's dropping gems. You know what I'm saying? He charges a lot of money for these, but he's dropping gems on his YouTube channel. And of course, if you don't want to miss any future videos, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell as well. It's the other way you can support us without checking out the Patreon page. Patreon page is really, really encouraged me to continue putting out information like this to you guys. And it also helps me, pay for this 5 acres that I have, which is a pretty penny on a monthly basis. So in any case, yes. Oh, is it tasty? Just for the folks at home that are wondering, everybody always wants to know what treats I'm using. I use Stella and Chewy's freeze-dried beef recipe. It's a preferential, healthy, and it comes in a little biscuit like that, and you can break it up into a million pieces, and you could get a lot out of it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and grab this leash, and let's just start simple. Continuing to mark. This clicker is a marker. Now the thing I love about the clicker, it is a very consistent mark. A lot of the time people have a problem using a verbal and leaving it right there at that monotone specific, goes up and down. Good, 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 good. Same every time. Very clear. No confusion, right? Good. So something so simple as like him going from there to here is like a big deal in my book, okay? And I'm marking pay that. Good. Just little baby steps. Good.